The family group chat and dinner table, the problem started, small enough to sound like nothing. My cousin told the family I was making up messages so everyone would focus on my reaction instead of what she had done. I had my phone in my hand reading the message twice, while my older cousin Danny looked over and asked why my face had changed. My cousin kept their voice calm, which made it harder to push back without looking dramatic. When I asked what they meant, they said I must have misunderstood the plan. My aunt, who kept repeating her version, backed them up 5 minutes later. They did not say I was lying. They said everyone was tired, everyone was stressed, and maybe I had missed a message. That sounded reasonable until I opened the thread and saw the message they meant had been sent after the problem started. I did not fire back right away. I typed 3 responses, deleted all of them, and walked away from the screen. That pause gave them room to keep sounding reasonable, while I tried not to sound upset. Later that night, I saved what I had of the screenshots, the deleted post, and the timeline, proving my cousin planned the accusation before dinner. I did it badly, just screenshots and notes in the wrong order. But messy notes were better than letting someone else be the only person with notes. The next day, my aunt repeated that I was causing drama, while the deleted post was still missing from her version. I remember the pause before I answered because I was deciding whether to sound easygoing or accurate. Easygoing had not helped me so far. I asked the question in writing because I needed everyone to stand next to a time. What time did that happen? Nobody answered it directly. My cousin answered around it. My aunt, who kept repeating her version, reacted with a thumbs up to their message. My older cousin Danny sent me a private text that said, "Check the timestamps." So I checked. I put the screenshots, the deleted post, and the timeline proving my cousin planned the accusation before dinner beside each other, and made a plain timeline. Date, time, who spoke, what changed, and what document or message showed it. If I could not point to it, I left it out. That was when I stopped calling it confusion. My cousin kept describing it that way, but the files did not move like confusion. The messages did not read like confusion. The timing kept helping the same people. That changed how I handled the rest of the day. I stopped explaining my feelings and started asking for times. People got slower when I asked for times. They had to pick a detail and stand next to it. The choice I made was to bring my parents into it. I hated doing that because it meant admitting the normal route had failed. I still wanted someone to fix it casually, to send one honest message and make the whole thing smaller. Nobody did. I rewrote the email until it stopped sounding like a fight and started sounding like something a person could check. I attached the screenshots, the deleted post, and the timeline proving my cousin planned the accusation before dinner, and wrote the shortest summary I could manage. My parents replied with 2 questions. What should they check, and where did the problem begin? That was when I knew I had sent it to the right person. Not how do you feel, not why are you upset, not can everyone calm down. I listed my cousin told the family I was making up messages so everyone would focus on my reaction instead of what she had done before anything else. Under it, I added my aunt repeated that I was causing drama while the deleted post was still missing from her version. Then I wrote the sentence I had been avoiding. I think the current version leaves out the work I actually did and the choices other people made. When I walked into the dinner table, I had the papers clipped in order and my phone charged. I also had a headache from not eating, which I remember because it made the fluorescent light feel personal. The dinner table was smaller than I wanted it to be. My parents sat at the head of the table. My cousin sat across from me. My aunt, who kept repeating her version, sat beside them and kept looking down at her phone. My older cousin Danny took the chair closest to the door. My parents let my cousin speak first. They gave the version they had clearly practiced. Everyone tried. The situation got messy. I was making it personal because I did not like being corrected. They did not raise their voice once, which made interrupting feel almost rude. Then my parents asked them to explain the messages my cousin claimed I had made up. They gave a quick answer. I put the first page down and said the time on that answer did not match the message. I did not add anything after that. I let the page sit there. My aunt, who kept repeating her version, tried to help them by saying the exact timing was not the point. My parents said we were checking the order of events before anyone's opinion. That sentence changed the room more than anything I said. By the end, my parents asked my cousin and my aunt, who kept repeating her version, to wait outside while the pages were copied. I stayed in my chair after they left because my legs did not feel trustworthy yet. What happened next was not instant. My parents stopped the punishment, the family chat got the missing screenshots, and my cousin had to answer the timeline out loud. Nobody gave me some huge apology. I got one awkward email and a lot of people suddenly acting like they had always wanted clearer records. My cousin avoided me afterward. My aunt, who kept repeating her version, sent one message that said she hoped we could all move forward. I did not answer right away. Moving forward is easier to request after someone else has done the dragging. My older cousin Danny checked on me later in the hallway. She did not give a speech. She just said, "I am glad you kept the times." I laughed too hard at that, and then had to pretend I was fine. For days afterward, the fallout kept arriving in small, practical ways. People asked more careful questions. Messages got clearer. Plans that used to live in someone's memory started appearing in writing. I still go back to that beginning sometimes. My cousin told the family I was making up messages so everyone would focus on my reaction instead of what she had done. It looked small from the outside. Most things do before you see where they are going. The first ordinary day after it felt stranger than the meeting. I woke up expecting another message about the messages my cousin claimed I had made up. There was nothing. Just a normal inbox, a normal cup of coffee, and the weird quiet that comes after you stop bracing for someone else's version. I checked the folder anyway. That annoyed me. I wanted to be the kind of person who could close a folder and never look back. Instead, I opened it 3 more times that week, not because anything had changed, but because my body had not caught up to the fact that the worst part was over. My older cousin Danny joked that I had become allergic to vague messages. She was not wrong. If someone wrote, "We all agreed," I asked who all was. If someone wrote, "Later," I asked what time. It made me sound more difficult for a while. It also made my life much easier to understand. One person told me I should have handled it privately. I asked which part they meant. The part where my cousin changed their story, the part where my aunt, who kept repeating her version, backed it, or the part where I finally brought my parents the records. They did not answer that. The funny thing is that I did try private first. Private is where I asked the first question. Private is where I waited for the direct answer. Private is where the answer got softer and stranger. By the time it reached the dinner table, private had already failed. I kept remembering small details from the room. The sound of a chair leg scraping. The way my aunt, who kept repeating her version, stopped looking at her phone. The way my parents said, "Timing first." Those are the details that made the ending feel real afterward. The consequence changed other people too. Not forever, probably, but enough. I watched someone else ask for a timestamp the next week, and nobody laughed. That felt like more of a win than any dramatic punishment would have. I do not want to become suspicious of every mistake. People forget things. People miss messages. People panic. I still believe that. What I do not believe anymore is that confidence deserves more weight than the record. If someone asks about it now, I try not to dress it up. I say my cousin did this, my aunt, who kept repeating her version, said that, I sent this, and my parents checked that. The plainer I keep it, the less room there is for people to make it about my personality. I wish I had trusted the plain sequence earlier. It would have saved me from trying to sound reasonable to people who were already talking around me. I still have one screenshot saved outside the folder. I know that sounds excessive. Maybe it is. But it is not there, so I can keep fighting. It is there because sometimes I need to remember the first moment I stopped letting the easier explanation move faster than me. The next time a similar situation started, I did not wait for it to become huge. I asked the small question early. Who said that? What time? Where is it written? The problem either cleared up or showed itself. Both outcomes were better than guessing. I do not miss the adrenaline. I do not miss the private messages or the rehearsed explanations. I do not miss trying to sound calm enough to be believed. These days, I would rather have one awkward timestamp than 10 smooth explanations. What stayed with me was how ordinary being punished for reacting to a family accusation that had been planned before I even sat down looked while it was happening. Nobody announced they were building a false version. They just made one convenient choice, then another, while I tried to stay pleasant. Pleasant has its place. I am still pleasant when people earn it. But I do not use pleasant as a substitute for checking anymore. If that makes me more formal, fine. Formal would have saved me a lot of trouble the first time. Formal does not have to mean hostile. Sometimes formal just means nobody gets to rewrite the day after everyone goes home. I think my parents understood that. Maybe that is why the first question stayed practical. They wanted the beginning, not my reaction to the ending. Nobody had wanted to ask it until the room had no choice. A few weeks later, I found one of my notes about the messages my cousin claimed I had made up. It was messy, half a sentence at a time, written too hard into the paper. I kept it because it reminded me the version I remembered had not been in my head. It had been in the room. My parents never became warm with me, and I did not need that. What I needed was someone willing to check the screenshots, the deleted post, and the timeline proving my cousin planned the accusation before dinner in order. Warmth without checking had already cost me enough. That is enough for me. Not because everyone became fair. Because the next time somebody tries to hurry me past the part one actually saw, I know not to move so fast.
For more Reddit-style drama stories, subscribe to Voice It. If you want another one now, choose a story on screen.